Hi Arthur, I'm very pleased to meet you again. As Carla said, I'm not used to speak nor listen to English, so I hope Carlos can help me to understand your questions during this presentation, and I hope my pronunciation is not a very big problem. The project I met Carlos through is a very ambitious one, and it's still alive. We are converting the paper workflow of Vicens Vives also in a content workflow and connecting the contents of InDesign documents to their CMS. And we are doing it with a new strategy and technology we called semantic cross-publishing. You will be hearing about it in some weeks or months directly from them, because there will be some integrations with themauthor sooner or later. So our publishing tools will meet your authoring tools, and we think that fortunately this project covers the needs of most textbook publishers in Spain and I guess worldwide as well. Paper publishers are currently bound to have two different production workflows in order to meet the requirements of paper and digital platforms, and they have to manually and sequentially intervene to keep both dimensions synchronized as they grow apart from each other. Let me describe a very common problem. Let's say initially you have your content in a CMS and then you import to InDesign. But in the paper environment, the contents need to be formatted and edited depending on factors that are present only in this world, like the geometry or the available space. So, layout artists and editors make changes that can only be done in InDesign. But let's suppose then you edit the content in the source platform and you need to re-import it to InDesign. And here comes the problem. This action can be done without losing the work done in InDesign. No matter if the source system is the digital or the paper one, the problem is exactly the same. This dependency of one system to other keeps the digital operators waiting until the content is almost finished in the paper side. If they choose to edit the digital contents before finishing the paper, then the publishing workflow daily generates lots of modifications that need to be brought to the digital one, a kind of Sisyphus sentence. So this is a real problem from the point of view of timings, resources and costs. A problem that takes place lots of times every day during months, as Carlos can certify. This has been solved by Q4. We have created kind of a channel between InDesign and our database. Our plugins take all necessary InDesign information and codifies it in XML. Moreover, the structure of this XML is guided by semantics. It doesn't serve to describe the documents, but the elements of the contents on its own, beyond the InDesign universe. Then, once out of InDesign, XML can be easily used with other systems. We have a complete transformation engine that we or anyone can program easily with xQuery. From this point on, Q4 can manage to edit digital and paper contents at the same time, so it becomes a bridge between those two universes. It took us about 7 or 8 years of development and projects, but we can currently edit the content of InDesign documents without InDesign. We can share the contents of InDesign documents to any other system, and we can even create some digital outputs in one click. We know some big publishers that are spending hundreds of thousands euros every year moving by hand paper contents to digital platforms. They would like to have the same content in both worlds throughout the entire production processes because they only have one team to control the contents and would prefer to save or invest their time, their money, their resources in productive tasks. Paper publications are critical for them, so they will continue improving their page layout to stand out from their competitors. And they would like having amazing digital products as well at the same time. So they will be very receptive to any solution that brings them this approach. They will be very grateful to anyone that shows them a way to manage the content by an integrated workflow that joins their typical environment, their tools, their processes, with the authoring, the digital publishing, the product delivery, and its consumption, which is in your side. Okay, let me now show you the XML channel I mentioned before with a couple of examples. I will show you some different scenarios, even the guts of our system, because I like you to draw your own conclusions. And those scenarios are only a few ones. In the case MAuthor and Q4 were integrated, there could be many other alternatives. I'd like to mention we have this website to present and introduce the concept of semantic cross-publishing. In there, everyone can download the software to connect you to our cloud server and test the technology on their own. The software to download is a modified and reduced version of our editorial system, Q4, and it's prepared to connect automatically to the cloud. And what you will see when you log in is this, an empty publication ready to be processed. Once inside, you can check out the pages and start editing them. This is a completely normal InDesign document that has been prepared with Q4, so as to information entities are described beyond InDesign. This is our contents palette, which is used to define the contents and its parts, and as you will see here, we have two information entities. As you can see, this text and this image, all of these are part of the first one, and in this other page, we have only a box as a part of the second one. Okay, there are two main ways to produce books in InDesign. One is drawing boxes and placing text and images inside, but in some cases there is not initial drawing. All textbooks in the industry have fixed layouts like this one, so in this case editors simply import or paste text from Word in these boxes. Please notice what happens in the palette when we write some text here. Here you see Q4 is capturing the events and loading the text into the palette. And now let me import an image. Here we have this one. And see how the placeholder takes the name of the image. Let me now fill some of these boxes in order to show you the final product a bit later. Let me open this file here and copy this text, paste here. Let me modify the vertical align, and let's go here to take this one and paste here. And then let's go to the second spread. This other case, we haven't a fixed layout. We must design something. Fortunately, for semantic cross-publishing, nobody uses new boxes when producing books, only when designing templates and libraries, okay? So we can use this resource to prepare those libraries for Q4. One more time, notice what happens in the content palette when I drop some elements to the page. In this case, pay attention to the list of information entities here. We have only two at this moment. But then let me use this library here to drop this element to the page. And you will see here we have three elements now. Q4 is listening to InDesign and adding the new entities each time we drop something to the page. But there is still something important to observe. Nobody knows how many components will be in an information entity. Normally, a title will be probably unique, but how many photos could have an article, for example? This is why Q4 is able to distinguish complements or additions from the main pieces in an information entity. If we want to add something to an information entity, we need to use an element, define it as addition, like these ones I have here in this other library. Pay attention now to this information entity. We have only the title and the text, but let me go to select this element and drop it to the page. And now we have also a photo node in this information entity. This allows us to add elements from external sources as well. For example, we have here an addition, which is a video, and runs as a caption in InDesign in this double page. So let me now drop it here, and we'll see that now we have an URL and a statement. When we designed this demo, we planified the protocol would be going to YouTube and copy the entire URL to paste it here. So let me do it. So let me go to the YouTube website and search for video. The first one, okay. Let's copy the URL and go back to InDesign to paste here. Okay, now let me to simply export and see the final result. Okay, we have here the website with the text we have in InDesign, which has been transformed to another thing. This is the second part. If you remember, we have here the two main texts. Okay. So, and finally, if we go down, sorry, we have here the video. Okay. Okay, this is a basic export with a web server system. But at Business Vives, the system that makes and publishes the contents is their CMS. We are sending them JSON data from our XML, so we can send virtually anything to any system. We made an API that can serve to any system to know when a publication has been modified in InDesign and ask for the contents in the proper format. Our XML channel can be also used to edit contents of documents in Design without InDesign. Let me show you how. First of all, I need to quit from this demo mode. So let me check in the document and quitting InDesign and quit everything else, even the Q4 client. And now I need to change the CFG, the configuration client file, to connect to the other system, and also change the plugins from the demo mode to the real mode. Okay, here we have. Let's copy this and paste here. And it's all. Okay, now let me start Q4. Let me check 1 second. Okay, this is okay. Okay, so okay, here we have. Let me start InDesign also. And close the libraries I used before. Okay, this is the complete and last version of Q4, and this is the real environment of a newspaper that we work for, Diario de Avisos. Let me go to this edition here and check out these pages for you. Okay, and as you will see, we have here labeled contents, which is the same technique I used before with images and text. It's a different schema, but the same technology. So you can guess, we have the contents in our database. Okay, so let me undo the checkout, and you will see now the other trick of Q4, which is our XML editor. Let me check out the content now with the Q4 editor. And here we have this is the interface of the application. We have here the main area to see the geometry of the page, which is not relevant because we have this other way to edit the contents. But we have here also a very simple toolbar, which is very convenient to many users. And we can edit the content, simply editing the text here. So let me write something. And we have we can check the result in design using a shortcut we have here. Check it and preview in English, Command P. So let me. Here we have the result in the real InDesign page. And we can also do it with an image. Let me place an image here. Okay, desktop. We have the same image as before here. So let me try with this one. The same image before. Let me frame it to the real size of the box. I can do it well or wrong. And we can print again against the InDesign engine, and this is the result we would obtain if we check in the content. The real power of this is not editing the content out of InDesign, but you are editing the XML in our database, which is the same XML we have used before to export to the digital product, or as in the case in Business Weavers, to fit their CMS. So we have virtually this kind of bridge between two worlds. Let's go back to the presentation. As you have seen, SAP is not a product, but an approach, a solution based on our XML technology. So SAP can join mAuthor as a tailored outfit in every situation. This should allow our companies reaching objectives that are difficult acting separately. For example, the XML editor can be used to edit and format the content placed in InDesign and Learnetic's CMS at the same time through our XML editor. Paper editors can work in InDesign contents, while digital editors prepare multimedia and interactive mAuthor contents that are connected to each other at the same time. This opens a path to publishers to think about their books as a print and digital whole project. I don't know exactly how a whole publication is generated in your CMS, but the CMS of Business Weavers will register new publications with all its structure and contents directly from Q4, and this could be done with your CMS as well. Paper operators can check the content of their InDesign documents in the digital output at any time, from the beginning to the end of their publishing workflow, and digital editors could see the current status of paper contents as well. This means control, total control. Thousands of contents, prisoners in hundreds of thousands of digital documents staked on hard drives, can easily see the light through the CMS thanks to a Q4-based digitization. Any content added to the Q4 repository will be automatically available for any digital system, which implies business based on contents can be built and developed. What's the purpose of this meeting? We would like to partner you so that we can offer a complete paper digital content creation solution to the typical customers. This would require some integration, sure. Would like Learnetic could promote this solution as a way to attract, maintain the customers, and Q4 would leverage the partnership in order to increase our paper customers in Spain or everywhere. And we would like also selling mAuthor as part of the process. We have been developing XML tools for InDesign from 2007. Thousands of books have been digitized in Barcelona and Madrid with Q4 since then, in Planeta, Urano, Ulzama, SM, Altamar, etc. All those projects made our XML technology very strong. Finally, we reached the semantic cross-publishing active in 2020 at Ilerna and Diario de Avisos, and as I said, we are now deploying it at Business Weavers. So our technology is mature. It has been producing some publications daily for years. We are constantly searching for ways to make it known. And one of the most powerful methods is a reputable company like yours endorses it to its customers. But we knew we didn't have nothing really different to offer to a partner until we reached our SCP. The combination of mAuthor and Q4 covers a market opportunity that Carlos and I see in Spain, and I would bet it's not only a Spanish opportunity. I was in charge of Quark projects and products from 1994 to 2002, so I know what the company reputation means, how much it costs to build, and how easy is destroying it. So I understand we all need to know each other and walk the path very carefully before making some decisions. But I hope we can get to know each other a little more and we can sail together some miles soon. I would like also to count on Carlos to help us with this collaboration in the future. So this is all I have to say. And thank you very much for your time, Arthur.